very, very nice to meet you. Just saw the movie last night. It was absolutely hysterical. And
Thank you, sir.
You killed every scene. I just didn't want to take anything away from your co-stars, but you killed the movie.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You've got a boy and a girl, and you seem to be a family man. You bring it up a lot on stage. So how does having a family affect the type of roles that you take?
You know, I wouldn't say that it affects it.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I'm not gonna do anything that degrades, who I am or what I feel like I represent. The only thing that it would affect is, if people are asking me to go away for a long period of time. If I have to go to a location and they want me gone for 8 months or a year, because I'm so close to my kids, that decision is a little tougher to make for me to be going away that long. So that's the only thing where I feel like my kids come into play. Me being gone for a certain amount of time, they get attitudes now when I'm going for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So I can't explain to my kids I'm going for 3 months, 4 months. It's no way in hell.
Okay. So talk a little bit about how you got involved with it. Steve Harvey, he's a very recognizable name, and you yourself are starting to be a titan in the industry. Talk about how you came into the film.
Steve Harvey and Will Packer had a conversation. Steve had a conversation with Will basically about the book, about them turning the book into a movie. Will Packer acted as a producer for the movie. He went to his partner, Clint Culpepper, Screen Gems, and they talked about it and decided to do it. And doing that is Will Packer's job to go out and find talent. Will had a meeting with me. Actually, wow, that's funny. In Dallas.
Okay.
I had a meeting with Will in Dallas. It was one of my shows. He came to see the show, and afterwards we talked. And he basically told me about the project, what it was, and he wanted me to do it. And, they're developing the script, and because of it, they're going after me first. I agreed to do it. After agreeing to do it, I read the book, and I had a better understanding for the overall pitch of what Will was telling me. And the script came soon later, and it was amazing. I said, okay, this is it. This is going to be something good to work with.
Did you, reading the book and knowing more about the movie going in, when you did some narration in the movie, did that help? Did your role increase because you knew more about the story?
Well, I wasn't supposed to do the narration.
Okay.
They decided to let me do the narration because we didn't want the narration to drag. We didn't want the narration to be a downfall of the movie. So they said, let's put some narration in with personality. So they decided to make me the narrator as well as the actor, because the movie being told from Cedric's character point of view makes more sense because he's going through so much. Him seeing everything, which he did, was basically what the narration was about. I saw the development of all the other relationships and what was going on. So it was only right to have me talk about, well, men, we were at war. Women didn't know it was coming. It felt genuine. So it was a group decision, and then they made me the narrator. And it just gave me more to do. It just made my voice, a little more relevant, and it also gave my character a little more to do as well.
So coming from stand-up and progressing to feature films, can you talk about how you develop your characters from your stage to a film, and how you're expanding your parts on screen?
Well, that's funny. I mean, my characters on stage are all so personal. It's easy to pull off. I'm talking about my dad, my mom, my grandma, my kids, friends. But these are all people that I've been around for so long that it's easy for me to do characters and mock. When I'm asked to do a film, depending on the movie or the project, it depends on how I approach it. See, my take on acting is this: unless you're playing a warrior in 300, or unless you're on the show Games of Thrones, or if you're doing a period piece, they want you in the movie to be some kind of rendition of who you are. They already like who you are, and they've seen who you can be in previous things. So they just want that. Now, when you add things to it, that's you as a talent making choices. For me, my choices are just on my attitude. I don't really change my personality that much. It's my attitude. And, when the roles come along where I have to change, then I'll change. But for movies like this, I was able to be a rendition of who I really am. And that's kind of what makes this character that great. I'm funny, but I'm really playing myself in this film. And that's the first time I really got to do that, which was amazing to me because I was going through a divorce at the same time. So I played myself, and I was able to be funny because I was myself, just with somebody saying, be yourself now, action. That's all it was.
Well, since you had a lot of trust from the early stages of the casting, and you were kind of, you got to be yourself, How much of it did you bring to the role in terms of when you know, Tim's story, when he let you, did he let you riff?
Oh, tons,
you know?
tons.
Okay.
That's the beauty of being a comedian. You know, they trust you, they trust your judgment of funny. And because of that, because of trusting your judgment of funny, you're allowed to sometimes go off script. And going off script, as long as you can bring it back to the story and keeping it in a real space, nobody's going to complain. And I was able to have a great group of actors, cast members to work with that understood what I was doing and fed off my energy. Nobody was ever lost. No scenes were ever dragged out because nobody knew what was going on. People allowed me to do it, and we always came back in a great place, and, you know, the story continued to grow. But, you know, I thank God for Tim's story for letting me do what I did. It was amazing. We got a lot of funny stuff because of it, and still believable. Like, you know, I made sure that I told a fine line of being realistic.
Well, a lot of what you did was, like I said, you killed the scene and you were hysterical. So you're kind of brought in as, you know, comic relief, playing off a lot of, you know, straight dramatic actors. Was it tough kind of going, you know, playing opposite them and keeping a straight face, or?
No, man. I mean, the thing is, we were all friends before the movie. So during the film, when people broke, you give them shit, you know? Stop messing up the takes, man. Stop breaking. That's a funny take for me. Shut up, Kevin. Like that's literally what it would be. That was our relationship. We could haggle each other, you know, take jabs at one another, and, you know, ultimately we knew it was all in fun, all in love. That's how we got the best stuff out of it.
Okay. Well, as you're seeing all the 4 stories play out, and you're the one who's kind of, you know, you're coming full circle with Gail. Talk about how she got on, because on the poster you don't know who she is. She's kind of like a cameo. So how did she become involved?
Well, we were saying throughout the whole movie, you don't see who my wife is. We don't know who she is. Like, she doesn't have a face. We was like, well, we should reveal her at the end of the movie. And we, you know, when we talk about just the development of the story, I said, yeah. I said, but it shouldn't be your typical person. I said, let's make it something. You know, it has to be a great reveal. Reveal? What is that? Reveal. What is that? Why not just? I know why I'm saying reveal, because you said Gail. That's why I said reveal. It has to be a great reveal. So that's how we came up with it, and then the development of who that person would be came in later conversation. But it was definitely something that we said should be a shock to the audience when they love it and laugh at it, or whatever your response is to it. But it's something that's not expected.
Yeah, and it certainly was. Well, it's a fantastic movie, hysterical, and you know, I think a lot of people are going to pick up the book, and it's gonna kill. So.
Thank you, man.
Great
I appreciate it.
Kevin.
Thanks for taking the time, dude.
Take it easy.